Not everyone is meant to awaken. The path of alchemy reveals itself only to those ready to transform completely. If you felt the fire within, this message is for you. 7 sacred portals await, each one a step deeper into your true power. The question is, are you ready? True alchemy begins not in books or laboratories, but in the fire of personal transformation. It's not for the curious, it's for the called. The first sign is the crumbling. You feel lost, confused, disoriented. The structures of your life begin to fall apart. Relationships, beliefs, routines. This is not a mistake. It is the first portal. Nigredo, the blackening, the death of the false self. Everything you once identified with begins to dissolve. Your name, your story, your titles, your accomplishments, all are stripped away. This is not symbolic. It is visceral. Your life collapses so that something deeper can emerge. You may feel abandoned, betrayed by the world or by fate, but in truth, you are being broken open. Your soul is calling you inward, away from illusion, away from autopilot. Nigredo is the furnace. The ego screams as it burns, but there's no way forward without the fire. Then, silence follows. Not peace, silence. A strange, haunting emptiness. The world feels distant. The meaning you once clung to is gone. This is the second portal. Albedo, the whitening, the purification of perception. You have burned, but you have not yet been rebuilt. You are in between selves. The mind begins to search for distractions, desperate to reattach to the familiar, to the noise. But in this silence, if you can bear it, a new awareness begins to bloom. You start to notice the thoughts that once controlled you. Noticed, they lose power. Observed, they lose identity. You are not your memories, not your emotions, not the voice in your head. You are the one who observes it all. That realization becomes the foundation of everything. You begin to feel the difference between inherited beliefs and your own inner truth. What once felt like you, now feels like programming. The purification deepens. In this space of clarity, you step into the third portal, alignment with universal truth. You begin to see not just yourself, but reality differently. The patterns that governed your life start to emerge. What once seemed like coincidence now reveals itself as design. Your life was never random. Every wound, every loop, every lesson was part of a larger architecture. This is where you meet the Hermetic principles. These are not dogmas but living laws. The first, mentalism. All is mind. The universe is consciousness, and your experience of it is shaped by your thoughts. Second, correspondence. As within, so without. Your internal world projects itself onto the screen of reality. Third, vibration. Everything moves, everything has frequency. Your emotions are vibrations. Your intentions have a signature. Fourth, polarity. Every quality has its opposite. Light and dark, joy and sorrow, power and surrender. They are not enemies, but ends of the same spectrum. Fifth, rhythm. Everything flows in cycles, seasons, emotions, growth. There is a time to expand and a time to contract. Sixth, cause and effect. Nothing happens by chance. Your reality is a result of inner and outer causes, conscious and unconscious. Seventh, gender. Masculine and feminine energies exist in all things. One initiates, the other receives. Harmony is born of balance. You begin to live these laws. You don't just understand them, you feel them at work in your life, and with this comes power. But a deeper truth begins to emerge. Your words have shaped your reality just as much as your thoughts. This is the fourth portal, the power of the word. The ancients knew words were sacred. In Egypt, the term Heka referred to the magical force of speech. Words are not just sounds, they are frequencies. When you declare, "I am," you are casting a spell on your identity. I can't, I'm not good enough, I always fail. These are not reflections, they are instructions. You have programmed your reality with every phrase you've repeated to yourself. Your internal dialogue has been constructing the walls of your life. But here now, you begin to reverse the spell. You speak not from fear, but from alignment. Not from doubt, but from truth. You say, "I am ready, I am whole, I am the creator of my reality." And something shifts. The vibration of your speech changes the geometry of your world. People respond differently. Opportunities appear. You are no longer a passive participant. You are a co-creator. Still, inside, something remains fragmented. You have released old beliefs, purified perception, and claimed your power. But there is still a divide, a split within you. This takes you to the fifth portal, the fusion of opposites. Since birth, you've been told to suppress one part of yourself. to be strong, not soft, logical, not emotional, masculine, not feminine. You were taught to choose sides. But true alchemy is fusion. The great alchemists depicted this in the rebus, the being of dual natures, male and female, light and dark, fire and water. Not symbolic, essential. You realize that strength includes vulnerability, that action must be balanced by stillness, that clarity is born from emotion as much as reason. You no longer resist one side of your nature, you integrate. And in that fusion, you experience power you've never known. You become whole. You are no longer pulled in two directions. You become centered. This fusion births a new awareness. You've been following teachings, seeking answers, waiting for permission, but the guidance you sought was never outside. The sixth portal is revealed, the inner master. You quiet the world and the voice emerges. It is not loud, not urgent, it simply knows. It says, you are ready. It says you already are what you seek. The teachers you once revered now seem like mirrors. They were never meant to be followed. They were meant to point you back to yourself. You remember things you never learned. You awaken ancient knowing. You begin to act without hesitation, speak without fear, and walk without apology. You trust your intuition, not because it's infallible, but because it is yours. This is the reclaiming of sovereignty, the return to your throne, the realization that the divine spark was always within you, buried under layers of noise and doubt. And then, without warning, you step into the seventh portal. Rubedo, the final illumination, the birth of the Philosopher's Stone. This is not enlightenment in the way people imagine it, serene, detached, otherworldly. It is vivid, embodied, alive. You become solid in your essence. You walk through life with a presence that transforms spaces, not because you seek to impress, but because your frequency speaks before you do. Rubedo is the integration of all previous stages, the dissolution of ego, the purification of perception, the understanding of universal law, the embodiment of intention, the union of opposites, the awakening of inner wisdom. All of it now crystallizes into a single radiant presence. You do not need to try. You are. You don't need to manifest. You embody. The world reflects your inner harmony. Synchronicities increase. People sense something different. They may be drawn to you or repelled, but no one is indifferent. You've become a mirror to others, reflecting the parts of themselves they've forgotten or denied. But Rubedo is not a finish line. It is a beginning. Alchemy is cyclical. The self that was refined will one day become the raw material for the next transformation. There is no final form. There is only expansion. And now you are left with a choice, not a comfortable one, not a passive one. The question that echoes beyond the seventh portal is this: what will you do with this power? Most people want transformation without responsibility. They want wisdom without change. But alchemy demands embodiment. It demands action. The Philosopher's Stone is useless if it remains hidden. Its purpose is not to sit on a pedestal. It is to create, to serve, to awaken others through your living presence. Now life becomes your laboratory. Every conversation is an opportunity to speak with intention. Every emotion is a moment to alchemize fear into clarity. Every challenge is raw material for the next refinement. You no longer seek meaning, you create it. There are no shortcuts, no saviors, no secret formulas. There is only the work, the inner work, the sacred work, the great work. It is the work of showing up when it's hard, of staying centered when storms come, of choosing love when fear is easier, of remembering who you are when everything around you tells you to forget. You become a quiet revolution, not loud, not forceful, but unstoppable. Your presence shifts timelines, your energy reorders space. You no longer bend to the world bends to your resonance, not through control, but through coherence. You have become aligned. And yet something remains. The final secret, the one hidden even from those who complete the 7 portals. It is this: the true Philosopher's Stone is not you. It is the life you build after the awakening. It is the impact you make, the art you create, the love you offer, the truths you embody. You are no longer a seeker. You are a source. You do not need to preach. Your existence is the sermon. You do not need to chase. What is aligned will find you. You do not need to convince. You live. And that is enough. And in living fully, in living freely, you become the invitation. Not everyone will accept it. Not everyone will understand it. But the ones who are ready will feel it. They will recognize the frequency. They will remember the truth. They will step forward, just as you once did, toward the fire. They will begin their own nigredo, their own journey through silence, truth, word, union, sovereignty, and crystallization. And they too will awaken to the echo that has always been calling, not from the world, but from within.